Twitch page, send out Twitter stuff, get all of the wonderful, wonderful streaming services started, and we should be good. Just send out and making sure that that's not muted. So, hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is Saturday, November 11th, and this is the Saturday, November 11th TextQuest Devstream. So, today we're going to be getting back into custom content creation. We're going to be picking up where we left off way back. It seems like, geez, what, like three weeks ago now? Pretty sure that's actually correct. Possibly longer even. So we're going to be continuing on with our work on custom adventure interactions. So to give you a sense of where we are currently, there are also actually a few minor things that I need to get done today that I noticed when I was running through it before the stream. Hello, Z-Link. Welcome back. Where's your Easter egg meme? I don't think I actually have Easter egg in the parser yet. Well, I mean, I have Easter eggs in the parser, but I don't have an actual Easter egg parser hint. Huh, that would actually be pretty funny. Either way, it might be there. You just have to look. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start creating a custom adventure. If we look at our map, oh, this is interesting. Huh. So I just realized that our start room is not set to be a start room. That's kind of weird. So you can see that we have red warnings here, which means that there's no starting room. Yep. Huh. Okay. Let's go ahead and get rid of those. Let's go down to start room. Let's make this a start room. Hit close. Okay, that's kind of weird. I don't know what happened there. That's a thing I'll have to keep my eye on. Working on getting a PC. Cool, cool. Do you have an idea of specs yet that you want? Or are you just kind of shopping around still? So, something that I have noticed that I don't do currently, I think it'll work now, is the highlight tab, or the tab that is highlighted, does not actually change whenever we open up a room menu. So if I go over here to interactions, you can see my list of interactions here. Then if I close this directly, when I go back, interactions will still be highlighted, even though it's showing info. I don't exactly know why that's the case, because it should, by all rights, be using the same function, or it should be using a function that changes the tab at the same time, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So, we will probably take a look at that real quick. But then once we finish up with that, we're gonna move on to parsing objects from files, because we don't have that set up yet, I believe. I think we can browse for it, but I don't think we actually have it set up yet. Right? Oh, no, maybe we do. Maybe we do. Well, either way, we'll check that out in a second. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and stop playing. Let's reload this. And we are going to go ahead and pull up custom room, what is it? Custom room view? I think that's what I called it. If I can spell view right. Ah! Alright. And let's see. So we want to, I'm also going to go ahead and close my sound stuff, because that's all taken care of now. So for this on open, when we actually open this up, we're going to want to go here. Okay, so that's probably why. So I'm not actually calling that function, but I should be doing that. So I'm just going to go ahead and say on, what is it, info clicked. I'm guessing that will do pretty much what those four things were doing anyway. Yep. And it'll actually set all those colors. Okay, so that's a quick way to get rid of that. Ooh. Oh, no, that's fine, because I assigned room info there. Go ahead and let that compile real quick. So that should fix that little issue. I'm a little curious as to how the start room got set to be not a start room. That's kind of interesting. I wonder if that's something weird about going between rooms, maybe? I'll have to look into that. So before we go any further, I am going to take a look at, I'm guessing it's custom interaction. Ah, dang it. Call it that. Interaction. I'll just go over here. Go to definition. Interaction prefab. Let's go ahead and go down here. Set info on click out listener on interaction clicked. There it is, CG interaction view. Go to definition. Let's drag that over here. All right. So we need to check real quick if we already have the parse from file. I think we do. I feel like I wouldn't have downloaded the file otherwise. So let's see. Right, the overview menu. Go to definition, import button, find all references. Let's go ahead and go down here. Import click to go to definition. Okay, no, it doesn't work yet. I didn't think so, but it's weird that we downloaded that file. Either way. So this is where it's going to get kind of interesting because we're going to have to basically overwrite the information for the current object that we're looking at and set its information to be whatever is contained in that file. I don't know if I should perform some sort of validation check first. So we don't try to parse like a file that makes no sense, but I suppose live dangerously for now. So get a drink real quick. All right. Yeah, all right. So let's see. We have one file select. Blah blah blah. See what this does real quick. Start cardine, path scroll delay. Where's our value? So is that really all I'm going to do? All right. So I'm going to look for import path labels text value. That seems kind of strange, but I guess there's no real need to have a separate variable to store that information because it's not like they can manually change the text anyway. All right, so let's go ahead and say on import clicked, we'll do string path is equal to, what was it, import path label? Yeah, import path label is equal to import path label dot text, and we'll say file manager dot read text or read file from path. So that'll give us a string, which means that we're going to actually want to say, might as well just do this then. You know what? No, I'm going to keep the path there in case I need to do validation checks on it later. So I'm just going to go ahead and say string contents is equal to that. Let's go ahead and go up here. And then we'll go ahead and say JSON object. JSON is equal to JSON parser dot parse contents. And once that's all done, we'll go ahead and say, let's see, CG interaction menu. It should have a reference to the current object, correct? Let's see. I mean, surely I do. Peak. Yeah, current interaction. All right. Ah, dang it. All right. Let's see. Where are? Here we are. So current interaction dot part. Oh no, not parse. From JSON, right? Yep. JSON. So that should force it to update. Do I want to call refresh? Yeah. Call refresh info, which should update everything. Yep. Description label text, current interaction description. Yes, that should work. I don't know if that'll update the title label though. That's kind of weird that I'm not doing that there. Hold on, let me double check that actually. I'm kind of curious. Refresh. Base.show. I suppose that does not really matter. Because this is just a submenu. So, was. All right, let's go ahead and go back to CG interaction view real quick. Actually, do I also have a refresh event that happens? No? Weird. Because I can almost guarantee that this is not going to update properly. Refresh interaction info, find all references. Where are you? You're just called there? That's odd. Okay, we'll leave it alone for now, but I think we're going to want to actually set that up to listen for a refresh event on submenus, and then when that happens, have it update all of the information that's necessary, which is basically going to be the name title or the name label. Let's go ahead and clear this. Got my headphones tangled up. All right, skip through these. Start this. Go to extras. Author mode. Create. Zork. This, I still wish I could figure out why I'm getting a stutter there. I feel like that's going to get worse the larger the file that I have. I just don't know how to mitigate that, because it's kind of unacceptable that it takes that long. It's like a good second, I think. Let's go over here to the map. Interesting, start room is still messed up. So let's go ahead and check that off. Weird. Maybe that's because we didn't save anything. It's also weird because I just realized that our room arrows are now correct. Huh. Alright. So let's go ahead and say room 2. Let's go over here to interactions. I'm also just going to go ahead and close. Ah! Look at that. That's interesting. It's because it goes away if I... Wait. Hold on. Really? Cat? Yes, I see you. So if I close a room while on the interactions page, that makes the start room not be the start room? No! That's weird. So if I close it at all on any room that's not the start room? Interesting. Well, that's something to look at then. I don't know why that would be the case. That's super weird. Alright, let's go ahead and close that. Come back over here to interactions. Close that. Okay, info tab is actually highlighted. That's good. Let's go ahead and add an interaction. Type of interaction do you want to add to the room? We're going to create and add a new interaction. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and browse to that file, interactions, example. There's our path. Now we're going to hit import. And the real question is, did that do anything? Because it seems like no. It seems like no, it did not. Which is kind of... Wait, did I not... Did I just completely forget to do that? CG interaction overview. Import button. Yeah, it's right there. Refresh info. Maybe it's doing what I thought would happen. So if I close this, come back here. Test custom object. Is that correct? It doesn't seem right to me. Well, one way to find out. Let's go ahead and go look at it. Unity, text quest, build, text quest, custom interactions. Opened it up in the wrong thing, because of course it did. Go ahead and pull this over here. So, let's see. Yeah, names, object and item, a test custom object. That all seems correct. I'm also curious if I close this and open up another one, does that... Nope, it doesn't. Okay, so we got to clear that text too whenever we do something. Let's go ahead and fix that minor issue, and I'm also I'm going to change the contents of that so that it's not pretty much the exact same as the original text or test object. Let's go ahead and close that. Oh, and we'll take a look at this to figure out why, for some reason, closing the menu while start room is unchecked causes there to be no start room whatsoever. That's really weird. All right. And then, of course, I need to shove my cat off my keyboard. So let's go ahead and change this. So we'll give it one name. We'll call this test parser or parsed object. A parser test custom object. So that's all good. And then everything else is kind of just meh. Don't particularly care about anything else. So, custom room view here. Let's see, there should be a toggle, right? Oh, no, it's the custom room info menu, right. Submenus. Gotta love submenus. All right, so let's see. Toggle, start room toggle, find all references. Actually, you know what? On hide, remove start end room listeners, go to definition. Okay, so we're removing the event listeners on those. That's to be expected. Definition, root.set active. That's interesting. I don't really do anything there. Find all references. So we have a refresh info. Well, that wouldn't make sense. Huh. Excuse me. Let's see. On start room toggled. Oh, that's, yeah. Let's go ahead and go down to that definition. Let's see, value. If author session dot is room or is end room. This is weird. Hello, Anthony. Welcome back. Never got notified, so I didn't watch you for a while. Ah! That's weird. I wonder if it's the new Twitch layout, because I know that they just revamped, well, I don't want to say revamped, but they changed the site a little bit. So I don't know. Either way, well, I'm glad that you saw that I was streaming, though. So welcome back. How are you doing today? Besides the obvious soul-crushing realization that you've been missing my wonderful dev streams. Yes, cat, I see you. How am I doing? I am doing fairly well. We'll see how, like always, we'll see how this dev stream goes. But I'm pretty hopeful with what we're going to be doing, since it's custom content stuff, and that's kind of always fun. A lot of programming, which reminds me. Aha! I always forget to do that. Alright, so I'm guessing what's happening here is on start room toggled is getting called somehow. But that, to me, seems odd. But what would do that? Let's see, if author session is starting room. Oh! Well, this refresh info might actually do it, now that I think about it. Because if we refresh the info here, then it's going to set the custom room view to be equal to -1. Or the custom room view, the current starting room to be equal to -1, which means nothing. So we actually want to go down here to on start room toggled. Here we are. So we want to, cat. We want to do a quick check here that says if author session dot start, what is it? Is starting room. Here we are. author.id. So if this room is the current starting room, then we'll set author.setStartRoom to -1. Otherwise, we don't actually care because it's an impossibility. So, all right. Whoa, that's cool. Was that in response to the custom content stuff? I assume. I could be wrong. Um, uh, so I'm also convinced, by the way, Anthony. Now that you're here, this proves it. Twitch is not updating who's watching. Like, I'm not seeing a count. The watch counter, the little eye that normally tells you how many people are watching, it says 0. But if you're watching, that means that it can't be 0. So I don't know what's up with that counter. It seems like it's been off the past couple of days. Kind of curious what's going on there. Either way, let's go ahead and go through here. Start, extras, author mode, create, Zork, map. Okay, so let's close this. Aha! Victory. Aha, cool. So that's working. And I also want to test something. Yes, that's super weird. So apparently my map layouts have incorrect arrows the first time you generate it, but then the second time it's fine. It's super weird. Let's go ahead and go back here to our interactions. Take a look at this. Phooey. You know what we did forget to do? We forgot to make it so that this gets cleared. But we can go ahead and close this. I want to try something else. Okay, good. So that these tabs do actually change, which is good. All right. So let's try to browse to this interaction again. Hit import. Interesting. We also got a coroutine, which is not great. Parser test custom object. That all seems to check out. Let's go ahead and close this. Test parse to object. That's good. Although this does mean that I need to change my my text objects to do an ellipses when it runs out of room. And like I said, it wasn't going to update the title up here, but that's to be expected. All this stuff seems to be working. Let's see. So I guess we'll have to do a coroutine check down here as well. All right, so let's go ahead and stop real quick. Let's go down here. We're going to want to go to CG Interaction Overview menu, and then on Open, or on Show, we're going to want to set import path label dot text is equal to nothing, so that it's empty, and that way we don't get cached import paths, basically, because that would be confusing, especially if you're jumping around from object to object. That seems to be good. Dang it, we're still got that like 20-second cooldown on this stuff, so it's taking a little bit. Let's see where this is. Start coroutine. So I'm going to go ahead and say if object.active in hierarchy. And actually, you know what? Since accessing game object like this will generate garbage, I am going to go ahead and do a cached game object here. So private game object, cached game object, private game object, cached game object, get return cached game object, question mark cached game object. Otherwise cached game object is equal to game object. Lowercase g. There we go. And the reason that I'm doing that is because every time you access, oops, where are you? I lost it. Here we are. Every time you access the regular lowercase game object field on a mono behavior, that actually generates a little bit of garbage, but by caching it, it gets rid of that garbage generation. I mean, there's still some garbage generated because I have to access that game object initially, but then it's cached, and then I no longer have to keep generating garbage every time I want to do something like that. So We'll go ahead and also wrap this in on add clicked. Is that going to be good? Yes. Let's go ahead and say that. All right. I think we're good here. So those two changes now should fix a couple of those usability issues. And then we'll move on to getting the interaction menu to fully update whenever you import something, so that it actually refreshes the label and does all that fun stuff. Had to turn notifications off and on for it to work. That's weird. So it must be something to do with the overhaul then. Just because I don't really know what else it would be. That's kind of strange. I'm guessing it's like some weird interaction between their old and new system, where their old system was flagged as following, but the new system didn't pay attention to that until you re-enabled it for some reason. That's so weird. Well, either way, I'm glad that it's sorted out. All right, let's go ahead and this is the same one. Nope. Oh, yeah, but it was pointing at that. So, okay, we should be good then. Let's go ahead and play again. Take a look at all this stuff. Aha. Click through. Start. Extras. Author mode. Create. Zork. Map. Oh, by the way, something I've been thinking about. Haha. See, it's all functional now. I feel like I probably need to get some sound effects in my menus, because right now they're kind of they're they highlight, but they don't really have any sort of crunch to them. So when you click on stuff, there's no sound that's really happening. I probably should do that, just to give a little bit more audio feedback. Let's go down here. Parser test custom object. Oh crud! Right. We don't actually want it to clear the text. We want it to have a default text value that says search or something like that. Let's go over here to you. I'm going to change this real quick. Oh, how wonderful. My highlighting is also broken. Go ahead and call it that. Also, that's good. So changing this name does update it, which means I can probably just hook into that. Haha! And the verbs don't do anything yet, which makes sense because I don't actually have any information there yet. So, okay, let's go ahead and go over here to info real quick. I'm also going to change this. Oops, there we are. Should be good there. Come back over here. A parser test custom object. A parser custom object. Oh, that's not good. This does not save whenever I edit the description, apparently. Okay, so let's go ahead and close that. Actually, just to test. Parser custom object. So it does save, it just doesn't update the overview. So that's good. Go ahead and close that. Let's see. Was there anything else I needed to test while we were in here? Nope. I think we're just looking for coroutine errors, but I don't think we got any. All right. So we actually want. Let's see. Interaction overview menu and CG interaction view. We want info menu. Let's go over here to pull these together. Names area. Refresh elements. Description field dot text is equal to current interaction dot description. Is that also not happening here? It does, but that doesn't seem to actually change anything. Okay. Adjectives on description edited. Current interaction description is equal to value. Oh, I get it. It's probably because I don't. So I call refresh info, but that's not going to affect this field. It needs to. Well, it's going to affect this particular submenu, but not the other menus, which shouldn't matter actually, because when show is called, it should call refresh info, right? Oh, it doesn't. That's interesting. Well, let's do that then. Let's see. addition to that, let's go ahead and let this compile real quick. Didn't get any errors about coroutine starting or stopping. That's good. All right, let's go ahead and clear this. I want to go to, do I already have a defaults name here? JSON. No. Ah, here we are. Path placeholder text. I feel like this is used in other places, right? On clear clicked. Okay, yeah. So I should just do that actually. Yeah, I definitely should because it's doing exactly that. So I should just say on clear clicked. Same exact thing. Go ahead and get rid of the extra white space. Should be good. All right. So that'll fix that little particular issue. What else do I want to do here? Oh, right. Let's go to interaction info. Refresh. I feel like on name edited, if index is equal to 0. Ah, here we are. So I don't know if I should refresh the entirety of this or not. Because really the only thing that needs to update in the overarching menu is, well, you know what? Let me think. The only thing in the overarching menu that needs to be updated whenever you change like a name or whenever you import is the name label. Everything else is kind of fine doing what it's currently doing. But that might change in the future, so I feel like I should have a generic event that gets fired on in the base class for all of the submenus here. So let me see, there should be a base refresh info here. So I could, oh wait, there's an even, oh, there it is. That's interesting. So I could have a, excuse me, an event that gets fired here. I feel like it would be fine. It just means that it would always fire whenever refresh info is called, regardless of whether or not you need it. And that I'm not entirely ecstatic about. So, really don't want to do that. Let me think. How can I get around this? I suppose I could just do this. Public delegate void refresh event. Oops. And public, nope, not delegate. Event refresh event. Refresh. I can't call it refresh info. Refresh. Refresh something. I could just call it on refresh, I suppose. On refresh is equal to delegate. It's an empty delegate, and then I'm going to go ahead and have a protected function down here called protected void internal refresh, and this will just call on refresh. All right, so now I can go to, let's see, CG interaction view. Yep. Let's also actually go to interaction info menu, info event. I'm going to get rid of this. And then down here, I'm going to call refresh, or internal refresh. And this is basically going to, I'm basically going to have the parent menu that has all these submenus. I'm going to have it listen to all of its submenus for the on refresh event. That way it will only update whenever it needs to, or whenever the submenus need it to. So we can go up here now. there. I'm going to go ahead and say on refresh, because then I can say overview menu, not button, menu, dot on refresh plus equals, so what's this one doing? I guess I can just have it do that for now because they're kind of doing the same thing. But maybe I should just change this to say, let's see, is this being used anywhere else? Nope. Okay, good. I'm just going to go ahead and refresh. Rechange. I can't talk. Rename this to say on submenu refreshed. Okay. So now whenever I change something, well, the same thing's in the interaction info menu, and now in the overview menu on import, I can come down here and say internal refresh, which we'll call that event. Cool. Let's go ahead and let that load. So we should be able to see that now. So when we import information from a JSON file, we should now be able to see that name change immediately. All right. So let's go ahead and say, oh, and you know what? Actually, before I forget, let's see, where are you? I probably want interaction view. Oops, I can't spell interaction. Let's see, custom game basic interaction list button, I think might be what I want. Yes, maybe. It seems right. Except this one has a delete button, so this is probably the one that I want. Not that it matters. So for this label, oops, there we go. We want to change this to truncate or ellipse. Probably fine. That should be fine. Okay, let's go ahead and save that. And we'll see if that ends up looking right. My main thing is that I want to make sure that when I have a really long name displayed, that you don't get that vertical growing that happened. We want it to be just within that box. So let's go ahead and skip all this fun stuff. Extras, author mode, create, Zork. All right, so we're going to go to app, room 2, interactions. Let's go ahead and, oh, was I getting some stutter? Let's go ahead and browse this, interactions, hit import, aha! And it updated here, aha! And if I change this, go ahead and do that. Did anything happen? Yes, cool. So we got that to work. So we have it actually searching through all this stuff. Also, if we browse to a file and then we don't import and come back, it'll clear that. That's pretty good. Cool. Okay. Well, what next? Test custom object. All that stuff's working. I suppose the logical. Oh, and there it is. Yeah, there's our ellipses. So that's pretty good. So yeah, the next thing I suppose we would want to do is have a full-on interactions menu. So not like this per room interactions list. We want an actual menu that has all of that information in it. So let's go ahead and go out here. Do I have any place for that? No, I probably need to have a little a button here for this. Hello, Jelomega. Welcome back. How have you been? It does seem like it's been a while since you've been on Twitch, or at the very least since you watched one of my streams, which, as you know, are the only things available on Twitch. Last time I checked, I am the sole person. Okay, so I probably want to have a button here for interactions, similar to like the dictionary or game settings, how you can set up all of those variables. Um, so we would basically have a list similar to this, where you would see the the interaction name, and I'm guessing we can sort them similar to how we have alphabetical or type here. We could do we would be able to do alphabetical or items and interactions. So same exact thing that we're doing here. When they're sorted specifically by type, they'll still be alphabetical. It's just that if you choose alphabetical, it'll show you both items and regular objects. So let's go ahead and go back here. Let's go ahead and stop. Actually, no, before I stop playing, I'm going to go ahead and pause. And I want to grab this menu that's open currently. Not the cursor overlay. There we are. Custom game, classic create. I'm going to go ahead and just open that up. Then I'll stop playing. Finally finished my graduation work, so I'm free. You say that. Did you land an internship? Or is that not until next year? Because I remember you talking about that. Okay, so classic create view, we have our buttons here that we need. Let's see, play button, settings. I'm going to put it after that, I guess. So we'll call this interactions button. Interactions button. Let's go ahead and add a hint for it. Call this interactions hint. Interactions hint. Create, edit, delete interactions, well, objects and, well, objects to interact with in your game. There we go. Or, there we go. Create, edit, and delete objects to interact with in your game. That sounds good. Yeah, I got an internship already, but I only have to do it next year. Okay. So you've basically been promised that internship, but you're not doing it right now, right? Okay, so we have interactions hint. Oh, you know what would be super awesome, except I can't do that because I don't have a thing for it. I was going to say like not a toggle, but a drop down would be nice, except I'm pretty sure that all that does is convert this into a drop down. Dang it. I need to have like a drop down group thing. That would be super awesome, but would probably not be very easy to do. All right. I kind of want to do that now. No. Can't get distracted. Although I will. No. That'd be fun editor scripting. We'll finish up this little thing here. I'm going to put a little to do here because I want to do that. I want to try to do that. To do group drop down attribute question mark. I'll put that there because I want to figure out if I can actually do that. That would be a really cool editor exercise, and that might be a fun thing to do for the last half of the Devstream today. That's cool. Congratulations on getting an internship. Can you share where it is, or is that supposed to be like don't tell people you're working here yet? All right, so I need to come back down here, all the way at the bottom. Here we are. So settings button. Oh, you know what? I should probably settings. Cool. Let's go down here. Say private void on interactions clicked. It's not going to do anything yet. or all this stuff is fine. Button hover, info text is equal to message, info text is equal to nothing, peak definition. I don't think we really need to worry about this. I could be wrong, but I feel like I don't really need the getter there. It's fine. I feel like I can just get rid of this, basically. Okay. Settings button, come down here. So we're going to say interactions button, on hover enter, add listener, delegate. Dang it. Delegate. Alright, so on button hover, interactions hint. Alright. Right, because we don't actually care about this. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. And then I'm going to change this back from a delegate to a straight up regular old event listener like that. Works so much easier. And the reason that I do it like this, as opposed to how I used to do it, where I did actually pass all that information, is because I realize now that that's entirely pointless. It's physically impossible for you to basically hover off of a button that is not one that you is not the immediate one that you previously hovered onto. So get rid of this. So it's just a nice way to simplify my code, because past Chris had no idea what he was doing. Let's see. Settings button. Go ahead and grab this. Paste that. Interactions button. There we go. Company's called Graphene. They have a textures, compression, and streaming middleware. That's cool. Mind if I show this on the stream? Because I always like to ask when people post links. Technology, video game, 3D visual industries. Brings real-time graphics quality to the next level. So this is where he's going to be interning at. That's pretty cool, though. It kind of makes me think of, what was it? Virtual textures? Is that what it was called? The stuff that id had, and actually, oh no, mega textures. That's what it was. The like 48,000 by 48,000 textures. Well, that's a single texture that just has a bunch of information inside of the texture itself. That's pretty cool, though. Alright, probably should get back to the custom content stuff. Alright, so for this, we're going to go ahead and let that compile. Should have done that while I was looking. Well, and what we're going to do now is, let's see here. Selected. We're going to need to make a new UI class, obviously. Well, a new UI menu. But before we do that, we're going to need to grab our classic create. Nope, not that one. Classic. Not you. Okay. That's interesting. I must have typed it something, or called it something else. View. Custom. Let's see. I'll run into it eventually. Not that. No. Here we are. Go ahead and drag this underneath our UI. View, custom, game overview. Cool. Let's go ahead and add this. We're going to go ahead and duplicate our settings button. Move this up to here. We'll rename this interaction button, or interactions. Interactions button. Rename this. Have it say interactions. make sure that this gets assigned properly, and we should be good there. So let's go ahead and turn you off, apply, and close you down. I'm still surprised that NASA is one of their customers. That's actually not too surprising. NASA seems to be in a lot of places within the game industry that you wouldn't expect. Heck, I mean, the company I work at, well, the predecessor to the company I'm currently working at, which I also worked at, that company had some NASA projects that we did. But yeah, NASA has a pretty big interest in the gaming community, just because there's a lot of tech that can be used that's pioneered by the games industry, but can be used in whatever NASA needs it to do. All right, so we have our interactions: create, edit, and delete objects to interact with in your game. Create, edit, and delete objects to interact with in your game. The two kind of makes it a little awkward, but delete objects. Yeah, it's fine for now. Let's see. I was gonna say, is that the only one that has two lines? But nope, that seems fine. Create, edit, and my Oxford comma. So let's see. Okay. So obviously clicking on this doesn't do anything right now. That is something that we are going to want to change. So we're going to need to make a brand new UI. Well, brand new class for that. Also restarted my engine. Wait, restarted on your engine? So does that mean that you're scrapping what you did and restarting from the ground up? Or you're starting work on it again? I'm assuming that's what you mean. So restarted yesterday, now benchmarking memory allocators. Yeah, okay. I was going to say, like, don't scrap your entire engine. That seems like so much work. Wait, so you are actually restarting from the ground up. Oh, man. That is a lot of work that you're going to be doing then. All right. Let's go ahead and grab this. How do I want to do this? I think I'm going to. Right now. I'm basically trying to figure out what menu I should use as the base for my new menu. I guess settings would probably be the most appropriate. This is our map view. View custom game interaction. No, this is the sub menu, right? Yeah. Well, it's not a sub menu. It's more like a modal, but okay, that's not quite what we need. Instead, here we are. Custom game variables. Let's go ahead and open this up. So this is yeah. So I think we're going to want something like this. God, it's almost going to be exactly the same. Actually, it's going to be name, then type, and we just won't have a value. So we'll just have name and type get more room to themselves, basically. So yeah, that works. Over here, interactions, CG interaction view. Do I have an interactions? Okay, good, I don't. Go ahead and create CG underscore interactions view. Basically it's basically a list wrapper for the interaction view. Didn't have that much, and now I don't have to do anything at home for school, so I can use that time to work on it. That's fair. It's just, I guess, scrapping work on a game engine seems like a pretty big scrap. And that's coming from a guy who scrapped 2 years worth of art, or 2 years worth of art and some programming. But then again, not quite the same, I suppose. Because game engine stuff. Well, I guess typically you could get bogged down with your old workflow if you don't scrap it. So, either way. Either way, good luck. Hopefully it'll be a little bit more satisfactory for you this time. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of this JSON because I don't need it. I don't need the classic create view. Well, no, I do need it because I need to actually tell it to open that up. I don't need you though. Do need you. Don't need you or you or you or you. And I don't need you or you. Okay, so let's go ahead and say, should I make this part? Okay, good. Just a game view. So game view. We're going to say using sleepyowl.common up here because this is going to change to text quest. All right. So what is going to be necessary in this view? I will let that compile, and I'm actually going to go ahead and open up the script so I can look at this. We are going to need pretty much all of this, I think, aren't we? We're going to need different components. It's not going to be a custom game variable node. But we are going to need, we're going to need a scroll rect using Unity Engine. Engine.ui. Okay. Oh, and of course, using not SM, TM Pro. Okay. Back button, new variable button. Let's go ahead and call that new interaction button. Interactions grid and interaction scroll. I don't know why I have the hiccups, but I do. Also, I have no idea where I left off. Yeah, that's always the worst. Not working on something for a while, then going back to it, you're like, I do not know what I was doing. And that's why they tell you to comment all your stuff. All right, so let's see. I guess I'm also going to need this. I feel like I should have just made a submenu, honestly, that has all this stuff in there, so I don't have to constantly have this. But it's fine for now. Let's see, variable nodes. We don't really care about that, although that does mean I'm going to have to go up here and say using, not sleepy, system.collections. Then using system.collections.generic because I need both a coroutine and a list. So we'll go ahead and say private IEnumerator. Actually, no, I'm just going to duplicate the one that I know that I have down here. Scroll delay. Because I need to wait one frame before I can do anything. Because of UGUI. That's just how it rolls. Oh, wrong thing. Oops. There we are. That's that. Custom game variable node. Peak definition. Can I actually just change you to what is it? CG underscore interaction. Dang it. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Although I will peek this because it's going to have something. Interaction button. Okay, that's all I needed. So we'll call this interaction button. We'll call this interaction. No, we'll call it interaction. Interaction button prefab. That's all good. Okay, and then we're going to need a list. So private list interaction button. I guess we'll just call them buttons is equal to new interaction button. All right. Let's get a couple of other things noted real quick. So private void on new I will just say on new clicked. And private void on back clicked. Okay, that's all good. Come down here, private void awake. Make sure I did that in awake too. Currently, I even have every member variable commented, so I have the hassle of creating documentation in the future. Or to save the hassle of creating documentation in the future. Yeah, that's smart. I've tried to start doing that at work. I don't really do a good job at it at home on TextQuest, but pretty much whenever I make a script at work nowadays, I comment everything. So I'll do like the full-on XML comments because I know at some point we can use a tool to generate documentation based off all that stuff. And I tried to do it with my common scripts for Sleepy Owl, but it's one of those things where I didn't originally start, or I didn't do it originally, so now whenever I go back, I try to do it as I'm editing stuff. That's obviously not a catch-all method. At some point, I'll have to actually go through and manually document things. All right, so this is going to say new interaction button dot on click dot add listener on new clicked, and then back button dot on click dot add listener on back clicked. I just make Doxygen compatible docs. I don't know. I feel like I would want to try and do something that would be. Well, I guess I haven't really used Doxygen in a while, have I? Actually, now that I think about it, the only experience I have with Doxygen is from school eons ago. But I never really actually did anything with it. I just know that it was on the computers. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of something else. No, it was Doxygen, right? Or maybe it was just Oxygen. Whatever. Yeah, I know that there's some tools out there that helps with that automation process, and I haven't actually looked into them yet. But I know that they do use the XML formatting, so. All right. The next thing that I need to do, now that we have the base set out, is I need to actually make the UI for this. Well, it's already kind of partially done, fortunately, but we do actually have to assign this view. So let that compile. Oh, okay, good. I was going to say, I did want to use the CG preface. Come on, Unity. I believe in you. Not that much, but I do believe in you. Okay, there we go. So we'll make the CG interactions view at our root. Give it a position order of 6. Show cursor, we're not going to hide cursor on close. Interactions scroll. Content. New variable button. Back button. There's our drop down. And then finally, we have our interactions button that I need. Let's see, custom game interactions. Interactions string field. Boo. Alright, so I think I need to do CG interaction view. Custom room. Map view. Rooms. Okay, so it's not you. It's interaction. Here we are. Okay, so I want this one. Yeah. There we go. That should work. Okay. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and remove this. I'm going to rename this to view custom game interactions. And let's go ahead and just pull this down here real quick so that I don't accidentally overwrite my old prefab. And now I can freely make changes to it. Aha! Ugh, man. Apparently I didn't get enough sleep last night. Keep yawning. Or I don't have enough caffeine. One of the two. Okay. So let's go ahead and rename some of this real quick, just so that I don't get confused as to why these are called variables later on. Interaction. Scroll view. Cool. Get rid of view. Sorting. That's all good. I'll call this new interaction button. Gotta change its content. So it says new interaction. Oh, right. When we make it, oh, geez, this is going to be super fun. Oh man, that's going to make it really awkward. Okay. Um, so currently, actually, you know what? We might be able to make this work. So the way that the interactive objects are checked right now is if it is an interactive object, like it's just the base class, then its type is shown as base. If it's an item, which means that if it's the item class, it's shown as item. But in theory, you could toggle between item and basic. And when that happens, I would need to actually delete the old one, make a new interactive object or item, and then assign its spot to match the previous one, basically what it used to be. But that's kind of a little difficult because, well, there I would lose the object reference by deleting it and then making a new one. So I might need to do some sort of like instance ID tracking, I think. Maybe. Um, we'll cross that bridge in a little bit when we get to it. For now, I'm going to kind of ignore it. But that is something that I'm going to have to do at some point. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of this. Okay, everything's looking good there. Let's go ahead and turn off our root. Hit select here, just make sure, and hit apply. All right. So for this, out of curiosity, actually, let's go ahead and go to our content, grab our button. I'm just gonna throw this button on here just to see what it looks like. Is that enough? Do I need some more divides, or do we think that that would actually be fine? Actually, you know what? This isn't even good enough, is it? Because I need to have the type, and the type needs to be a dropdown. Okay. No, it shouldn't be a dropdown. That's a lie. It should actually just be a item list because the type would change in the objects, in the actual object menu that lets you change all of that information. I do still need to have a label for it, but I don't need to worry about anything beyond that. So I suppose that means I'm going to have to make a new class. Maybe I can just derive from this. So let's look at interaction button again. Review. Okay. I think we will also, I suppose, go ahead and move that over to here. Just have it be in the same group as the other interactions. Any day now. Jeez. It's taking too long to compile everything. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I guess make a C# script. We'll call it interaction list button. Interactions list button. Let's really hope that I don't already have something called that, or with that name. Okay, let that go. Go ahead and open that up. Because we're going to need a field for the type, but we don't actually need to change any of the other base functionality. I think we'd be fine there. Come on. Reload all. Make it in the namespace text quest. Interaction button. Go ahead and peek definition here. Oh, that's interesting. Let's actually go over here real quick. Make this protected. Let's see. Do I have anything private going on here? On delete clicked. Nope. that's pretty good. So, um, right. Okay, I guess I'm gonna make this virtual. Um, okay, I guess we'll also make this virtual. Cool, 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 cool. Everything else should be fine. Let's go ahead and get rid of you. Get rid of you. All right, let's go over here. So we're gonna go ahead and say override. Let's see, where are you? Or not, because I forgot the name of it. Set info. Set info. Override set info. And public actually can't do anything yet. We want to say using TM Pro. So public text mesh pro UGUI type label. Actually, I guess this is kind of redundant, isn't it? Because the interaction, the base interaction button class already has a sprite to let you know whether it's an item or a object. So, okay then, I don't have to do anything extra there. I just didn't think about that. But yeah, the icon is supposed to let you know whether it's a regular object or an item. So, alright. We can safely ignore that, and I don't have to worry about it at all. Let's go ahead and get rid of you. So we're actually fine using this then. Perfectly fine. I don't know if that means I should have my name. No, it's fine. I was gonna say, should I keep these labels up here? I feel like I was gonna try to get like type wedged over here, but then it would be so close to the name label that it wouldn't really work. So I think I can just get rid of these labels altogether. That should be fine. So let's go ahead and get rid of that class. We don't need it anymore. We'll get rid of the interaction button, of course. Come up here. Let's change our title. So instead of variables, it's going to say interactions. Eventually, you can do it. I believe in you. Shazam! There we go. Interactions. And still, it's not that bad restarting, especially since programming is fun. That is true. There is a certain amount of enjoyment to be had in doing odd programming tasks or hard ones, because it's one of the programming is one of the few areas in life that everything can suck until it doesn't suck. Basically, like things can be horrendously broken until they work. But for most other things, that's not the case, right? Obviously, when you're like building or doing anything in construction, things aren't necessarily horrendously broken until you finish the building. But with programming, that's kind of how it works. Things just don't work until they do. And that's a nice feeling when you reach that stage. It's like, yes, it's doing everything that I want it to do. Aha! In any case, so content field labels, I think I can get rid of. Like I said, I don't think I really need them. So if I delete this, go up here. So from the top now, I'm going to go ahead and say 15. So I'm a little bit closer to the top now. Maybe I should be 5. Yeah, that's good. Let's go ahead and save those changes. Apply. Okay. So with this, it's not going to function yet because we aren't actually generating anything in code. But we can do that now. So let's see. Interactions view. On new clicked. Let's go ahead and say override open. We're going to go ahead and say if not is open. All right, let's go ahead and let that go. Actually, no, before we do base.open, we should do all this fun stuff. Override close. If is oh wow, that was not what I wanted to type. If is open. We'll go ahead and do base.close first. Also, you can break code without the chance of somebody getting hurt. Well, most of the time. No, that is true. Well, yeah, it worked in most cases where your code has been structured well. You can do that. But obviously, if you have like a god class that you're messing around with, then that can cause problems. But those are generally frowned upon. So you know. All right. So for this, we're going to want to have a couple of functions here. Private void generate interactions. Private void clear interactions. Okay, do I got my buttons here? Yep. So we're going to go ahead and do for into I equals 0. I is less than... Nope. Well, no, that's fine. Less than buttons dot count I++. So we're going to iterate through that, and then at the end here we'll say buttons dot clear. And of course we'll say buttons of I dot game object. Nope, did that backwards. Pool manager dot recycle. Do all that fun stuff. Let's see here. We're going to also want to say private void on interaction clicked. So we'll go ahead and say buttons of I dot on. Oh, well, that did not go well. Dot on click dot remove all listeners. That should be fine. And button dot delete. I thought I had. Oh, I did that wrong. Buttons of I dot delete clicked. Minus equals. What does this pass? I don't remember. Oh, good. It passes just. Come on, seriously. We'll just call remove event listeners then. Remove event listeners. It's all fine. Go ahead and say clear interactions at the start of generating interactions. Cool. And then we're going to have to loop through all of the author sessions interactions. So we'll have to say for into I is equal to 0. I is less than author session dot inter. Do I have, yeah, okay. We'll say get all interactions, and I'll actually make that a list here. Object, interactions is equal to this. Interactions dot count I++. Hate it when IntelliSense breaks up like that. All right. Hold on. There we are. So that should give us all of our interactions. And for them all, we are going to want to create a button for them. And then we're going to want to sort them. Although actually, I should probably sort them here before I generate buttons. So by default, we're going to sort alphabetically. We're not going to sort based on item or based on if the object is an item or a basic object. Let's go up here to custom game variable view. I'm actually not entirely sure how I remember or how I did this before. Sort variables by name. Sort variables by type. Oh, that's interesting. would that be desirable? So I actually, in the variables view, I actually just straight up sorted the variables in the actual author session. So they're not. That means that they're not stored by ID sequentially. They're stored by name sequentially, basically. Um, it's not terrible, I suppose. Especially since this is all just, it's unlikely that most people will actually dig into the JSON anyway. Um, so that's probably fine then. Let's go ahead and go up here. Sort variables by name and sort variables by type. We're going to have to do pretty much the same thing. So let's go down here. We're going to go ahead and say add new interaction, sort variables. So after all of that fun stuff, we'll go ahead and say public void sort interactions by name, and public void sort interactions by type. Okay. And for this, by name, it's super easy. We're just going to do this. Same exact thing that we were doing for variables. So we're going to say interactions dot sort. Phooey. Well, that doesn't work. Okay. Huh. Yep. Yep. That complicates. Excuse me. That complicates things a little bit, because I forgot I was using a dictionary, not a list for interactions, because I need to retrieve an interaction by its ID, not by its actual object value. Which actually does mean that my concern over replacing objects or swapping them between item and basic objects is not really a concern anymore, because it's all retrieved by int anyway. When it is not likely that people will look into the JSON, somebody definitely will do it. No, that's true. And I mean, the only reason I said it that way was because it doesn't really matter if it's alphabetized or not, because it's still just going to be JSON. The only difference is if it's not alphabetized, then it's sequential, based on its creation. So it's not like one is markedly better than the other in terms of if someone did want to dig into it. But that's not actually a concern here. So I guess. Oh man, this is kind of weird. Geez, I guess I would have to get a list of all interactions. So to sort them by name, I would have to get a list of all interactions, sort that list by name, then compare those to the indexes of the original list, and essentially just, yeah, okay, that works. It's kind of weird, but it works. All right, so I want to do this list interaction or interactive object interactions is equal to get all interactions. All right, and then we will also want a list of int values, and that's going to be our interaction indexes equal to new list int. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and do for. Nope, not that. I have to do a for each loop. For each int id in interactions dot keys. Oh, right. I can't call it that. Dot keys, if I could spell. So I should call this like new interactions, probably. Yeah. Okay. We're going to need to say int index is equal to id, and then we'll say interaction indexes. Oh, you know what? Actually, that's not even. Well, right. No. That's right. Dot add ID. Right. Pretty sure that this is right. Because now I'm going to go ahead and say new interactions dot sort a comma b. No, not base. B. Stop it. There we are. Oh, right. I did that wrong. I always forget how to format this. There it is. I gotta wrap it in one extra thing. Zoop. Zoop. Oh, come on. There we go. Right. It's just gonna be a return a.name. Yeah. Copy this. A little bit faster. Instead of name, it's going to be name. I don't actually think that that's correct. Because it's also going to do the color check thing, which is kind of problematic. So I'm going to have to say names of 0. There we go. So it's a little more clunky than I would like. Okay. So we sort them. And crap. Actually, you know what? This isn't quite what I was thinking. Hold on. Interactions dot. Yeah, okay, didn't think so. It does contains value. I thought there was a way to get the key for a specific value, but I suppose that kind of defeats the purpose of a dictionary. So instead, I need to. Oh, geez. I have to do a for loop with a for each loop inside of it. Ew. That's disgusting. Gross. All right, so we're going to go ahead and say for int I is equal to 0, I is less than new interactions dot count I plus plus. I also love how the name sorting was supposed to be really easy, and then it turned into this monstrosity of a thing. Then we're going to say if new. No, we'll say that if new interactions of I is equal to. Oh, geez. Nope. It's just, I can't even optimize that really at all. I have to just straight up say if interactions of ID is equal to new interactions of I, then we're going to do this. And we can break out. So that should give us a list of our adjusted indexes, which means that we can then basically reassemble these new interactions in the old way, right? So we would basically do this, interactions.clear, and then for int I equals 0, I is less than new interactions.count I plus plus, we'd say interactions.add interaction indexes of, oops, nope. Yeah, no, that's right. Of I, comma, new interactions of I. Okay, so that should basically take the dictionary, or clear the dictionary, and then rebuild it with the new positioning for everything. That's kind of gross, but it should work at the very least. Once that's done, I can now basically do the same thing, but for type, which if I remember, it means that I have to sort things twice, I believe. Yeah, we sort them by name first, and then once we're done with that, we divide them up into their separate lists and then append them in order. So, hey, that is really weird. So that's going to be fun. Yep. Oh, jeez. All right. So for sort interactions by type, I'm going to say sort interactions by name to start off. And then once we do that, we're going to go ahead and have two lists. We're going to have list. Oh, geez, gotta sneeze. Excuse me. Hate sneezing on the Devstream. Interactive object. Basic objects is equal to new. There we go. And then list item. Items is equal to new list item. Jeez. And then of course I have to do that again. Let's see. Yeah, I basically need to do this twice. It's disgusting. So at some point I'm going to need to do that. And then once that's done, we're going to go ahead and say, jeez. We come down here, we're going to say, no, that's fine. Oh, we will need that space. We're going to go ahead and say list of int, or mint, I suppose. Int, basic indexes is equal to new int list int item indexes equal to new list int. Okay. Take a drink real quick. All right. So we have our basic objects list, our items list, our basic indexes list, and our item indexes list, and we're basically going to split everything into those two lists, and then we'll add them all together at the end again, similar to what we were doing up here, where we clear out the interactions and then reassemble it. It's going to be very similar to that, just a little different. Okay, so instead of new interactions, we're going to say, oh my goodness, I still need to do that, don't I? Hey, okay. Because I can't have nice things. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to get all of our interactions. Then we're going to loop through that, check our interactions keys, and then we're going to say, yes, that should work. Okay. I also wonder if I could actually have this return my new interactions. That actually could save me a step, but I might do that actually. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by, Gelmega. Nice talking with you. And good luck on refactoring. Well, not refactoring, rebuilding from the ground up your engine. Okay, so I think I'm actually going to have this return a list of interactive objects. And the reason for that is because that way I don't have to do this whole sort here. I can just straight up say new interactions is equal to this. So it will still sort it, but now I don't have to worry about sorting it and then requesting all of the return, nope, not list, new interactions. But I won't have to worry about generating another list. I can just use the list that was already generated and sorted. Okay, so let's see, going through all of this. Here's where we start. Here's where we're going to start splitting things off. So we're going to get our ID, and then we're not going to add it to a single list. We're going to say if interactions, oh no, I'm sorry, if new interactions of I is item, Then we're going to say item indexes dot add index else basic indexes dot add index. All right. And oh boy. I guess we could also go ahead and add that, or the base objects, while we're here. So give me a second. So this will also probably return a list of interactive objects. Interactive object. There we go. All right. And then at the end here, we're going to pretty much just go ahead and say return new interactions, because we are going to kind of dissect new interactions after we do this massive for loop. All right. So we're going to go ahead and say items. Is that what I called it? Yep. Items.add new interactions of I as item. Okay. And so you can't wait for this game to come out. I'm glad that you feel that way. I really do actually need those boosts every now and then, because I always get worried as I work on the game for long periods of time that people are gonna forget about it, or they won't really be that interested once it does come out. So thank you for saying that. That is always a tremendous help whenever I hear that. Because I know I put on this gruff exterior to make me seem like a hardcore developer, but I'm actually very fragile. I always feel like I always second guess myself. Is I guess the thing there. So thank you very much, and hopefully I can make it good enough for you to enjoy for a while, and live up to your expectations. All right, so I'm going to call this basic objects.add. It's not going to be as item because it can't be as item. Okay, so with this, once that for loop is done, we should be able to basically just say, we're going to go through here, and do I want to say new interactions? Yeah, we'll say new interactions dot clear, and then we'll say, I guess up here we'll go ahead and have a list int new indexes is equal to new list int. Okay. Then down here we're going to say new interactions dot add range basic objects new interactions dot add range items. Oh, come on, really? Oh, that sucks. All right, that's fine. I'll just make it an interactive object list, and I just won't cast this as an item. There you go. That works. And then we're going to go ahead and say new indexes dot add range basic indexes, then new indexes dot add range item indexes. Oh, right. Add range. There we go. Okay, now we can actually say interactions.clear, and then we're going to also say for int I equals 0, I is less than new interactions, or new indexes.count, that works too, I plus plus. Then we'll say interactions.add new indexes of I, comma, new interactions of I. So that all should work. Whew! I think that does it. That's kind of a weird chunk of code, but that should actually give us... you know what, I bet, I guess I could cut out this new indexes list instead and just use the basic indexes. Just force the item indexes on top of those. That would work, probably. Yeah, because that would cut out an entire check, so let's get rid of that. Oh, and you know what? That would also work. Well, I already have the new interactions anyway. That's fine. But I can get rid of the new indexes at the very least. Change this to be new interactions. Instead of new indexes here, I'm just going to go ahead and say basic indexes dot add range item indexes. It'll have the same effect, and then I can just say basic indexes here. Cuts out an entire list from my resource allocation, so might as well do that. Okay, so all of that work was just so that I could do this. Because I need to actually sort the list. All right, let's see. So we have our interactions list here. We probably could straight up actually, so instead of get all interactions, I could just say get no, sort interactions by name. That'll return us the list of all of our interactions sorted by name. Once that's done, we can loop through that and just generate buttons. So, although I do wonder if that would it be better for me to get the list of int values? Because I'm going to need to have them open stuff up, and I feel like the object itself is not actually as useful there. So yeah, it might be better to do author session dot get all interaction IDs. So we'll make this a list of say interaction IDs, and interaction IDs dot count. Interaction IDs dot count, not interactions IDs dot count. Okay, so once we do that, we're going to want to go ahead and say, actually, you know what? Hold on. Let's go ahead and go to see where you're all referenced. Interactions view, is that what I want? No, custom interaction should be there it is, interaction menu. So set info, on click add listener, ID. Okay, so I do loop through the IDs. That's what I thought, so that's good. So we can go back here to CG interactions view. Cool. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and say interaction button is equal to pool manager dot request interaction button. There we go. It's going to need to be based off of the interaction button prefab, and it's going to be parented to our grid. Okay. After that, we'll say button dot set info. This is interesting. How was I doing it over here? Whew. Okay. Seems a little less efficient than I would like, but I guess that's fair. Oh, and should I make that an ID? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I do. I have to because I'm using delegates. Fair enough. Gotta do that both, or do both of those things. That was terrible grammar. All right. So we'll say interaction IDs. That's all fine. Go ahead and do. Okay, we're all good there. You know what? I probably should have just pulled over this entire chunk of information, honestly, because I'm pretty much copying that verbatim. So this is going to be button. This is going to be our interactions. What did I call it? Buttons. Okay. Buttons. And let's see, on interaction clicked, right? That's going to take an int ID. And on interaction deleted, private void on interaction deleted. index. All right. I think that should actually generate all of the buttons at the very least. And I'm guessing actually when I do on delete here, I have a pop-up. Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna pretty much steal this entire thing. Because I need to have this safety net, or this safety check. Delete index is equal to index. Okay. Because if I don't have this pop-up, it's entirely possible that you might accidentally hit delete by accident, and then your entire object's gone. So I need to make sure that I always have a modal pop-up there. Go ahead and move this up, copy this out. It is very similar to our custom room interaction menu. In fact, it's pretty much our custom room interaction menu now that I think about it, just with a little bit more set dressing. All right, so, ooh, this is interesting. Delete index. I don't really. Oh, right. I can say buttons dot. Does this have a reference? No, it doesn't have a reference. Then that's kind of awkward. How and why would I get that? Okay. So I need to retrieve the interactive object's ID, but I don't have a reference to the object, and I don't have a reference to the ID here. I only have a reference to the button index that is sort of associated with those two things. Okay. That does complicate things. I don't really know what I can do there. Besides maybe keep a list of all interactions that aren't just the buttons, but rather are the actual interactions themselves. I guess that kind of makes sense. That's really weird, but I guess that works. All right. So let's see. Dang it, I really don't want to do that. I was gonna say I could just generate a new list here, but then that's a lot of effort and a lot of resources every time I delete something. Instead, I should just have a running count of it, I would think, but no, that doesn't really work. Well, all right then. This is interesting. I suppose I can just do this then. List int. We'll say IDs is equal to author session dot get all interaction IDs. Do all that fun stuff. Over here, say IDs of delete index. I think this will work. Because yeah, that should give me an ID that I can use. And then everything else should fall in place. So let's go ahead and go over here. I'm going to need on interaction delete selected. Pretty much doing the exact same thing. Coming over here. Alright. We'll say buttons. Buttons. And we don't care about you. Instead, oh geez, I need to actually remove it from the author session. So I have to say author session dot delete. Nope, not delete connection. Do I not have a delete interaction actually? I think about it. Let's go ahead and say interaction. I don't think I do. I have get interaction, get all interaction IDs, add interaction, load interactions. I don't have a delete interaction. All right, well, I'm going to do that then. Public void delete interaction int ID, and we'll go ahead and say if interactions dot contains key ID. Interactions dot remove ID. Okay, simple as that. I don't know if I should save after that automatically or not. Probably not. So let's go ahead and say delete interaction. We are going to have to do the same thing where I get the index, or I get the ID at that specific index. I wonder if it would... God, there's not really a good way around that, because this using the index, it's not a list, so I can't really iterate through it very well. So I have to do that this way. Say list int get get. What am I doing? Indexes is equal to author session get all indexes, or get all interaction IDs, and then this is going to be indexes of delete index. All right, that should work. So I think what should happen now is with the current basic functionality, oops, not recycle, generate interactions, and this will be recycle. No, sorry, clear interactions. So what should happen is when we go into this menu, it should populate all of the buttons, and that's pretty much, I guess, the only functionality that we can really check. Oh, and I should be able to delete them as well. Adding them won't really work yet, but we can easily do that. I suppose I'll actually just go ahead and check this to see what this does. Oh, jeez. Too much stuff. The modals really complicate things, don't they? Yep. All right. Add interaction. So I think I actually want to do this. So let's go ahead and go up here on new clicked. Oh, we don't actually care about this, so don't need that safety check there. Aha! Okay, I think we're good. Although I'm a little concerned about this. Might feel like it might close it, but so we should also be able to add new ones. I think. Peek this, make sure that it's okay. It's just gonna call open false. That's good. All right. Then the last thing I need to do is just on back check or on back click here. Wait, what? Really? What's the back button do? On back click, peak definition, just calls close. That's what I thought. Okay. Let's see. Interaction view. Doop. All right. That should do it. We can't. You know what? We can't sort yet, but I don't think that will actually take a lot of effort. Let's see. Game variables view. Go ahead and scroll down here. Sorting changed. Yep. Okay, I can just copy that pretty much wholesale. Or whole cloth. Wholesale, whatever. Paste that in. We don't have the on-sorting changed yet, but that's because I'm going to add one. Grab this. Go up here. We'll go ahead and say... Paste that in there. Sort is going to be generate interactions. Cool. So with this, our menu should allow you to create new interactions, click on interactions to edit them, delete existing interactions, and then sort them by type, in theory. All of that. All at once. Which probably means it's going to have some horrendous bugs when I first try to run it. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. Play. Oh, wait, nope. Dang it. Hold on. Don't do it yet. Yes. Whew. I forgot to add it to my UI, which would have completely made that pointless. And that would have sucked because it would have meant a like 30-second cooldown time while we waited for Unity to do whatever it needs to do. Select our prefab here. And let's also go to resources, UI. So I need to add that to my view prefabs. Let's see. Custom game over. Where is it? Here we are. Custom game interactions. Yep. Okay. Now we should be good. All right. Let this go, and I don't know why I'm so antsy. We can't actually test it until I actually navigate to it first. Okay. Oh no, I forgot. Dang it. I forgot to make the button do something. Of course. because I remember to do all the complex things, I just forget to do the really easy thing. Wow, I don't even have... Yep. Yep, that's about right. Let's see. Interactions button dot on click dot add listener on interactions clicked. All right. Let's go ahead and go to on interactions clicked. We'll say UI dot open and it's CG interactions view false. Okay, now it should work. At least I'm very hopeful that it does. All right, let's give that a shot. All right. Start. Shows author mode. Create. Zork. Interactions. Looking good so far. Let's go ahead and just delete. Delete. Oh, right. I need to change that message too. If I say no, it should still exist. We'll do test object. Well, no, we'll do test object 2 because it has a unique name. We'll say yes. Cool. It's gone. Okay. Oh, actually, now that do we not have it sorting? We don't. Okay. Yeah. So can we do alphabetical? Nope. We would have to do type. Ooh, this isn't doing anything, is it? Okay. So it seems like our sorting doesn't work. Not ideal. But yeah, it seems like when we change this, it's not actually going to do anything. Okay. But we do have delete working. I guess we can also test. Clicking does not work either. Okay. Did I forget to do something there? I forget to just like add listeners for that? I would not put it past me. Let's see. On sorting changed. Go to definition. So, oh, of course it wouldn't do anything because it's sorting variables by name. Sort interactions by name. Sort interactions by type. Okay, so that explains that little debacle. And on interaction. Oh, right, on interaction click. I'm not actually doing anything with that. So let's go ahead and pull that up. On interaction clicked. Here we are. Go ahead and come back over here. On interaction clicked. Should be good. All right. Cool. Gotta stretch. Gotta stay limber. Maybe I should get a standing desk or something. Although I never I understand why people get them, but it seems like it would be kind of distracting for a while you get used to it. All right, let's go ahead and let this load. Oh, yeah, a lot of lag for some reason. Start, extras, author mode, create, Zork. All right. The next thing we want to do, interactions, type. Okay, so we're actually not going to see any difference between alphabetical and type right now because I don't have item creation functioning. Only objects can be created right now. But it does sort them, which is good. And let's see if clicking on them actually does something. Uh-oh. Okay, hold on. I don't know if that didn't do anything, or actually, you know what? More likely, I forgot to. Oh no. Okay, so there is. More likely, what's happening is the thing that opened up is below this one. Yep. Yep. Because it's 6. They're both 6. So if I were to turn this off, step forward, you'd see that. Okay. So I got to make sure that custom game interaction and custom game interactions are not on the same level. Custom game interaction needs to be one level up, at least. At least. And then, of course, we have the obligatory 5-minute delay while Unity stops playing. Okay, then. There we go. Let's see. Clear all this stuff. Let's go to custom game interaction. We'll make this 7. Hit save. So that should allow us to have interactions working. And with that, that basically means that our new game interaction, our custom game interactions list view is functional. Extras, author mode, create, Zork. Interactions. Click on that. That's good. Good. Go ahead and get rid of you. Let's rename something, so we'll call this one Object 2. Okay, close. Cool. All right. So that seems to work. Oh, I guess we can test our new interaction stuff too. Let's delete this. We'll call this Object 54. 54. OBJ. That's good enough. Let's go ahead and close that. Cool. So yeah, let's also make sure the back works. Oh, I probably shouldn't make back red. But with all of that, it seems like item creation and exploration and editing and all that stuff is functional. I'm trying to think of what the next real step would be. First off, I guess I should make sure if I stop playing that these objects will retain their changes / creation, so existence. Also, I do need to come down here and say delete interaction. We'll say this cannot be undone. Okay, so that should all work. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's actually pretty good progress considering that we haven't looked at custom game stuff in about 3 weeks, kind of. At least it feels like that. At the very least 2.5. I want to say it's been 3 weeks though. So that's probably a pretty good place to end for the day. announcements while I'm thinking about them. We should be back tomorrow, probably doing some art, most likely, going over what we did this week. And let's see. Is there any way I can help support your game? Like, tell people about it? Yes, I suppose. Uh, keep your ear to the ground in a little bit. I'm gonna try to get some pretty big announcements out. Particularly, I'm gonna try to get maybe like a Discord going, and I would also like to. I'm in the steps to get the Steam page set up for it. Since it's been greenlit on Steam, I can actually set up a page. And I would like to get the Steam page created so that people can start wishlisting it, and then you can, point out the Steam page to your friends and say like wishlist it, because then when the game actually gets released, they'll be notified. But yeah, I am trying to help get more eyes on, or not help get more eyes on it. I'm trying to get more eyes on it. Thank you, Felix, for subscribing, by the way. Not subscribing, following, by the way. I always mix those two up. Yeah, I think in the coming weeks, you're going to see from me a lot more I can't talk. Community management stuff. So things like a Discord server, I'm planning that initially right now. That's going to be kind of new territory for me. So it might be a little slow rolling out, but I'm going to try to get all that stuff set up so that wonderful people like you, Anthony, can help spread word about Text Quest. And also, hopefully, I can start building up more of I don't want to say fan base, but a viewership audience, a viewing audience on Twitch, and just have a nice place that everyone can go to and talk about what they would like to see in the game and what they're hoping for the game to have, any feedback they might have on my streams, what they would like to see me do more of in the streams, stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some screenshots. Oh, and it did not save those changes, which means that I need to tell it to actually do that. But all right, that's a pretty good place to stop, by the way. So, also thank you, Anthony, for enjoying the streams. I'm glad that they're at least somewhat enjoyable to watch. Anyway, or in any case, so yeah, major announcements. In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be trying to roll out like a Discord server, so I can interact with you guys a lot more. I'm also going to be trying to get the Steam page set up, but that involves a lot of fun non-game development side of businesses. And yeah, and also we'll be back for tomorrow's Devstream, which will probably be an art stream. So, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching. Oh, hold on. Okay, tell me when on Steam when it's up. Okay, stream pages. Either way, yeah. So as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.